All right. So this is our favorite bit. We talked a lot about maintenance planning the other day and MELs, and we're just going to go through the maintenance documents quickly. Obviously, our holy book is the maintenance manual, and the maintenance manual consists of different task cards and indexes, which come from the maintenance planning data document, which is a document that comes from Boeing, but the airline modifies it and provides it to the authority and saying, right, this is my maintenance program. This is how I promise you I will maintain the aircraft. Okay. And all the tasks are done at the different intervals, etc., etc. This is our ICA. Okay. Our ICA is the instructions for continuing airworthiness. It's the abbreviation for all the manuals you need to keep the aircraft safe under maintenance. Okay, so I have a structural repair manual if I have structural damage. I have a fault reporting manual. I want to talk to you about this. And I have, in terms of supporting data, standard wiring practices. Apart from the AMM, of course, I have standard wiring practices I can refer to. I have the IPC. If I need to find a part, I look at the IPC for the correct part. I can, if I'm a B2 and I got wiring problems, I can look at the wiring diagram manuals. And this, I love this. Chris, me, I love it because it's of very good use. The system schematics manual on one small A4 page. You can see the system, how it works, what it connects to, and you can troubleshoot fairly easily with this system schematics manual. You can see what's what in this one. We also have a fault isolation manual, or Boeing call it the fault isolation manual, whereas Airbus would call it the troubleshooting manual. And I think the most correct one is fault isolation because you're isolating faults. If you're isolating faults, you can then dispatch the aircraft via the dispatch deviation guide. Remember that guy? Yeah. So the DDG has the MEL and the CDL, and then I can apply any maintenance manual activities and dispatch the aircraft. Now, I want to talk to you a little bit about this fault reporting manual, okay, because it was very readily used in the classics and in the earlier NGs. But as the aircraft become more and more complex, they're not using it anymore. But what is it? Okay, fault reporting manual. Imagine this. So the pilot was saying, well, while I was flying, I had a incident where I was at 5,000 feet and I could hear this tick, 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 tick. And then I increased my altitude. I went to 7,500 feet and it stopped. And now imagine trying to explain that, or even worse, trying to write that in the tech log. Yeah, it's ridiculous because, first of all, the guy who's going to see it is going to say, what the hell's going on here? Has this guy been drinking or what? Yeah. Whereas the fault reporting manuals has texts which are manufactured from Boeing, which you have to understand, Boeing has seen every fault possible on this aircraft. Okay. So they put standard text or standard ways of reporting faults. Okay. So that the pilot can report them in a concise manner, and B, the engineer who sees that can reference it to the fault isolation manual because the fault reporting manual will tell him where to go. With the evolution of technology and smart screens and CMS, yeah, you now have Airbus, for example, 320, SFCC in op. It will tell you the fault. You don't have to do anything. The pilot will just put SFCC in op because that's what he saw on his ACAM, and the engineer will follow the troubleshooting for that defect. Okay, but this aircraft doesn't have CMS. doesn't display faults. You'll see in a minute how primitive the display of faults is. Okay, because that was the technology in 1960s when it was built. Okay, so that's why we have the fault reporting manual. It was a way to be able to avoid or communicating better the defect into the tech log for the engineer to act accordingly. So the AMM has two parts. Part one is what they call the SDS. So if you go to any Boeing manual, you'll see part one is the system description section, SDS, which Airbus call the DO, description operation. Okay, and a lot of aircraft notes, type notes, course notes. Okay, this is from the course notes. The SDS are the course notes because it's the system description of the thing. All right. Part one is the SDS, system description section, and part two is the actual tasks. Okay, the actual maintenance tasks that you perform. And they're laid out in different, first of all, in 88 chapter order. Okay, and also they have specific numberings, page blocks, so that you have to imagine the AMM is 20,000 pages. So in order to narrow it down, first you go to the correct 88 chapter you want to work on, and then you go to the correct section or the correct page block, and it's subdivided into all these page blocks. So if you're looking for maintenance practices, it's in this page block. If you're looking for servicing, it's in this page block. For removal installation of equipment, this one. For adjustments or tests, this one. For inspections, it's in this one. And also the dispatch deviation guide. Remember we talked about the maintenance activities you've got to do for an MEL? They'll be all in the 900s. All right, and there you have it, the dispatch deviation guide, our best friend in maintenance. Now, Boeing call it fault isolation. Airbus call it troubleshooting, but this is a straight scenario. So, fault reporting manual. The pilot has used the fault reporting manual to put a write-up. Flight crew write this up in the tech log. The engineer takes the dispatch deviation guide, and he either makes a dispatch without a repair, or he does a repair in accordance with the fault isolation manual. He takes from the fault isolation manual the task number, and the task tells him to do the LIU test for that system that was US and get the maintenance message. So we do the test, get the maintenance message, and then we go to the fault isolation manual and see what the next step is. Okay. And then if it tells us, for example, to replace the LIU, LIU stands for line replaceable unit, the component that's unserviceable. We use the maintenance manual to perform the replacement of that LIU. We carry out the next FIM task and make sure the repair is complete. Once we replace the component, we do the test. If the test is good, we carry out the repair, the replacement, and the test in the tech log, and then the job is done. Okay, so that's a logical sequence on how we deal with defects on a Boeing. Yes, it can be complicated. You can get to here and it doesn't work, and then we have to do some more fault isolating. And this one's a fairly simple one. It's we've tested, it's the box, we replace the box, we release the aircraft. There can be various other scenarios, and we've done other scenarios like that. We have other scenarios like that, troubleshooting courses, and we're planning to do such a thing soon in the membership.